Okay, I want to be a little gossipy with you. This is going to be a short one. I have a girlfriend who was dating someone. She's in her 30s. He was probably late 40s. He was here from out of town visiting her, and she was in his hotel room. He was in a meeting, and she found a spreadsheet, a handwritten one. And on it, in the left-hand column, was women's names, and across the top were categories, and the women were rated. And my friend was super cash with it, found, at least she pretended, like, hey, whatever he needs to do, I get it, I understand. He's just got divorced and he's starting to date for the first time after like decades. I was less comfortable with this. And then it made me wonder, who's in the majority? Is it traditional to do something like this? I've never. I don't. I had never even contemplated some sort of rating system. So I wanted to ask your opinions. So the categories that I was able to remember after this conversation were the level of nice, 1 out of 10. There was a girl on the list, did not score high on that one. The body composition, it just said body, but you know what I mean. Intelligence, looks, if they were gentle, which I took to mean feminine. Like, what does gentle mean to this gentleman? I don't know, but I'm going to conclude that gentle is like the way she touched him, the way she corresponded, like if she came from a place of like aggression or like anger or something. I don't know. Again, I met the man, but I didn't get a chance to ask him. Trustworthiness. So again, this would be an assumption that he's making based on judgments because they were just dating, so he really couldn't pinpoint the level of trust with this early on. Like, I think my girlfriend had been on like 2 or 3 dates with him when she found the spreadsheet. She did not share with me if he had graded her, and I did not ask. Felt like that was a little too personal to poke at. But she was kind enough to share the categories, and it got me thinking. I really wanted to chat about this. I'm single, looking to date high quality, high vibrational people. Is this something that people do, especially with like online dating where you're usually dating a couple people? That's what they at least say to do. Definitely if you like someone, they say to date someone else to distract you so that you don't get too clingy, obsessive, I guess. If you're an anxious attachment person, if you don't know the attachment styles, I highly recommend reading this book. I'll link it below. Really helpful for me. And I will find that years ago, before I had started this intense healing journey, I definitely would bounce from anxiously attached to avoidantly attached. Like, if the guy was anxiously attached, I would be avoidant. And if the guy was avoidant, I would be anxious because I was unbalanced. I was on level as a human. So I would behave as the opposite of what someone would show up as. I still to this day remember this guy who was anxious. We met for a concert. He was so overwhelmingly anxious, it physically made me sick. And I had to abruptly leave the concert. I was like, I can't be near you because you are so panicked and anxious that I won't like you when I don't even know you well enough to dislike you, and we're at a concert. Like, we're like literally just existing next to each other and trying to enjoy this concert, and you're like making me nauseated. You're so anxious about me liking you. Like, just be your, it was sad, actually. He's a very successful man. He was basically retired at like 44 years old and could do whatever he wanted in life, and had not done the work. So I'm not on dating apps. I have in the past been on them, and I've thought to myself, how will I meet someone if I'm not on a dating app? But I do think that the people that tend to be on dating apps, for the most part, have been on them for a period of time that have caused them to have a hazy standpoint on dating, and they will, I don't want to generalize, and I don't want to assume everyone is the same, because I don't want to do a blanket statement. But what I will say is I find that a lot of people on dating apps, when I go on one, it's literally people that I saw on them 10 years ago. It's literally the same people. And eerily enough, a few of them are using some of the same photos, where I'm like, I've seen you out. This is not a representation of where we're at. It's, you got the less hairs, you got the more weights, you got like, you need to do some sprucing up, because this is a misrepresentation of. So that's another direction I want to go on this little tangent. I have been in situations when I was on the apps where I would arrive to the destination and the person looked so different, and a lot of men complain about this with women, and they're starting to learn how to like see through things too, because obviously with the invention of filters, you can smooth. Obviously with editing, you can crop. I think especially since 2020, when a lot of us got sick, we gained weight because it affected the metabolism and immune system. And I think a lot of people are plumper than they used to be. I know I was definitely in that boat. I had gained 35 pounds after I got sick with that disease, and it shattered my system. Probably also because I had taken the Accutane that I mentioned earlier, and I had a terrible diet, and I was drinking coffee on an empty stomach with acid, and then I was following it up with straight shots of tequila neat. There were a few instances where I walked into a date, I went through the revolving door, my date was standing there, and I just went, nope. Because if you are going to deceive me, if you are going to put up fraudulent physical displays of what you look like, and you're at no point going to say, hey, those photos that I have up, I'm looking a little older, I'm looking a little chubbier, I'm looking the whatever, like I haven't taken fresh photos, or sent me an updated photo like, yeah, those are my profile ones, but this is me today. And I show up, I prepare an ensemble, I put on my face, I do my hair, I pay to get to the location, and I walk in and you have fraudulated yourself, everything is a lie. I cannot trust anything that you tell me. I cannot trust any foundation of a house that we built for potential partnership, because you have deceived me. Out the gate, you have deceived me. And girls, ladies, I get it. You may not be feeling your best self at your current physical appearance, but it is not fair to bait and switch someone, because I've been hearing from a ton of men that they've been going on a date and the woman arrives and they let her know, which could be even more traumatic than you actually putting your actual physique in a photo. For some strange man that you were maybe developing the excitement for because of your texting and you have a first date jitters, for him to sit you down and tell you, who is this and who, like, where do I meet her? This is literally, like, I have heard this from so many men that they literally will call the woman out, and I'm aghast that they, first of all, I almost don't blame them, because it's traditionally on a guy to pay for the drink. So he invites you to the drink or the whatever, and you falsified information. You have shown up as a different version of what you portrayed. Maybe you didn't share what the rest of you look like, but you should be embracing what you look like. And if you are embracing what you look like, you should change what you look like. And also, if you're not embracing what you look like, knock, knock, you're not ready to date. If you are not in 100% in love with what is showing up on that date, sis, you are not in a place to be looking for a relationship with anybody but yourself. Because you should be so in love with your physical appearance that you're happy to show it on an app, regardless of what size, shape, color, whatever it is, you should feel like, yeah, this is me. And a guy should be so lucky to go out with this version of me. And there will be a guy or a girl, whatever your preference, that is interested in going on a date with what you look like today. And you have to disassociate with where you were, because as we age, we all sag and age and gain weight usually, and we don't look like our young, hot selves. Personally, I think I look the best I've ever looked at 41 years old. This is not to be braggadocious. It's just, I genuinely, truly believe that healing is the way to look your best self. It is in no hesitation that I say to you on the weekly basis, someone that either knows me well, knows me casually, or has never met me before will approach me and say, your vibration is bright. You are shining so bright. And I accredit that to the healing. I accredit that to working on self, having the beautiful relationship that I have with myself, going on a date and knowing if this guy shows up like a loser and performs below like A behaviors, I have myself to go home with. And I'm superb. I'm amazing. I'm great. I take myself on trips by myself. I take myself to dinner by myself. I go to the movies by myself. I could probably spend, I'm going to guess, a month without having a sit down, hang out with someone. I would want to see like people in like the lobby or a coffee shop or like an Uber taxi cab. Like I would want that sort of social clips, but you could even take that away and put me in Castaway situation with Wilson, the volleyball, for 30 days. I'm confident I would thrive. I'm confident I would have so much fun with myself. I would go on adventures. I would make up songs. I would dance. I would reflect. I would definitely cry. I would definitely have anger. I would definitely feel my feels. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. It was just a spreadsheet. She called it a spreadsheet. It was like probably a piece of paper, handwritten. I know it was handwritten. I just don't know how I feel about that. This poor man, he's trying to navigate the dating world post being married for forever. I mean, good on him for like holding himself accountable and having, you know, what's the word that we would use? He's not setting proper expectations. Like, I think it's really special that he wrote gentle. Just because it sounds to me like he was married to a narcissist when someone picks gentle as a category. Poor guy. Probably went through the ringer on that one. And divorce, we all know how fun those are. Let me know in the comments if you're doing this. Let me know in the comments if you think this is a good idea. I still don't know how I feel. I haven't really been on. I think I've been on 2 dates in 2024. Like 2. And the eerie thing is they were so parallel in personalities and disappointments, and they're both like celebrities, which if I were to say their name, you'd be like, who? So like, are you a celebrity? I mean, you were on a show, but like, did anybody watch the show, and or do they even remember the show? Okay, bye!